We talked about some of the opportunities for the industry. I want to pick your brain on some of the threats to the industry now. So when we think about your research and what your team's doing over at SIA, what are some of the biggest threats to the industry in the short term and then long term?
Yeah, well, I think as I was pointing out before that, in the short term, the business it's been a really unusual time for staffing over the last couple of years. And a lot of it, I think, is still working out from the pandemic. But typically, whenever the economy has grown, staffing has grown along with it. That hasn't been true in 2023 and 2024. GDP was growing. The unemployment is relatively low. Staffing had been declining the last couple of years. And, we've done some research on that. I think some of it is the correction from the pandemic. Some of it is, just working out things like if you think about like supply chain, where we had a very unusual growth in some of the key sectors out there. Everybody getting everything delivered at home for a while and all the disruptions that were there. The healthcare staffing side of things is maybe the most extreme example of that. And so there was an inevitable correction going on there. So that's been a challenge for the last couple of years. As I said before, I think we've started to see the stabilization in the industry. And so, that I think as we look into 2025, there are challenges out there. I think, the tariffs, I think has, to the extent that actually is going to happen, it's a potential significant drag on the economy overall. And, but we'll see. I think a lot of that is sort of a negotiating tactic going on. So that's certainly one thing. Other challenges are mostly around change and technology. And, whenever that's out there, I think people are, they're sort of looking for answers on that. But the long term, and then over the long term, I think this move toward, I guess, what we're calling convergence of this merging of technology and, this very people-driven business. And there's a lot of tech disruption that's going on out there right now. And so I think companies that are going to be successful and individuals in those organizations that are able to embrace those sorts of changes that are out there are going to be the ones that are more successful as we look into the future. The constant pressure is going to be there to deliver great talent, to do it at a lower cost, to do it faster, and to make sure that you've got great quality and great matches. Technology more and more is able to do that, and so I think that staffing firms have to really think about the how they blend technology with the human touch, how they compete against much more tech-driven platforms, sort of platform models. And I think that'll be one of the biggest challenges as we look forward, is just how the industry sort of reorients itself around all this tech-driven change and, it is able to find, the right niche to play in. For some of the bigger firms, that's going to be, sort of going for a tech first, maybe like an Amazon type model of a real sort of platform, AI driven. For many of the smaller firms, I think it's then you've got to become, if you think of Amazon, they're surrounded by this whole ecosystem of companies around them who use their platform and or filling niches around the platform. And so I think that's going to be a major challenge to the industry into the future, and one that folks have got to get oriented around about how they're going to fit and make sure that they play in that